Hi, my name's Fraser Taggart and I'm a cinematographer. For Rob Hardy, I shot the New Zealand helicopter sequence for Fallout, and I also did the Halo jump sequence, which when you tell people that, they go, "What, did you jump out of the plane?" I said, "Of course I didn't." I started lighting for some commercial directors, even when I was pulling focus. And one of my main things was I got known for shooting cars, and obviously from my prowess, I was known for action. Doing second unit is also really a great training because you're going to work with 15 DPs over the years. I'd done a film called Edge of Tomorrow, so I did the second unit on that for Dion. Very complicated script, and when they came to the edit, they realised that they needed to reshoot a lot for the audience to make sense of it. Dion was going on to another project, but Dion said, would I reshoot? And then through the years, I think I worked on a little bit on Rogue Nation, and then I did some other bits and pieces on Fallout. When we were in New Zealand, I spoke to the producer, a guy called Jake Myers, in a slightly sort of jokey way one day, and said, "I've had enough that you ring me up and ask me to come and help out on these films." I said, "Can't I just do the film to start with?" Which obviously worked in the end, because then I got a call from McQuarrie and Tom saying, would I go to a meeting? By the time they'd whittled it down, I was against two very excellent DOPs, and I thought, I don't know if this will happen for me. And then it did. So that was how I got through it. With MI, even if you look at interviews with McHugh and Tom, and they'll say until they know the location they're going to be at, they don't know what the action's going to be. You'll have a bit of planning time, and up front you test lots of different systems and rigs, and so you've got a good library of equipment to use and techniques. On 7, that we did the motorbike jump as the first thing. I even stood on the end of the ramp on 7, and I used to be fine with all sorts of things, heights from vertical limit, 2,000-foot drops and you're on the edge. But as you get a bit older, and he's older than me, I know it doesn't show with this wonderful lighting, obviously it won't look like that. But you think he is balls of steel, really. The credit's there. I mean, as you start to see his rehearsals, it starts to give you realisation of what we're going to have to do here. Biplane was something Tom had really wanted to do for a long time. Obviously had to go through all of the aerodynamics and the safety of rigs. And you wanted to shoot multi-cameras because everything takes so long. To go up and do one sortie is an hour. You'd want to push the cameras out on, as we call them, javelins or lances, to extend them out away from the aircraft. You don't want to be detached from the action. But the more and more we discussed all of the scenarios in the movie, you realise that you couldn't shoot on film, it had to be digital. Really, shooting on the Venice, I love the sensor, very forgiving, and then shooting on lovely C Series, Anamorphics, they just are forgiving and they're imperfectly perfect. The C's flare beautifully as well, which again is quite MI look over the years. I mean, the other reason C's are so good is they're quite a small lens, for the action stuff. We shot an awful lot on stabilize. It would still perform with the C Series and the Rialto, and you knew that Panavision will go to the ends of the earth to make things work for you and make your life as easy as they can. And they've always been so willing to get what you want. You always want something that's going to stimulate you and be different. I'd love to do a period film or, something. I'd probably miss the action if it's not any in it. To do MI, I'm doing both. So I'm doing all the performance, obviously, and all the action as well, which you then think, well, that won't ever happen again. Because if I get an action movie, you're going to have probably a second unit doing a lot of action, which then I'd probably find frustrating.